Good afternoon, guys. It is June 23rd, 2021. On this video here, I want to just address something that is a little bit concerning to me, and I'm not here to scare people or fearmonger or anything like that. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's right. But I want to just make some people aware. I've heard a little bit of rumors of possible issues with electronics, utilities, and stuff coming in the future. And I'm not trying to scare people. I've heard that it might be a short-term thing, but I don't know. I don't know if it's true. I don't know for sure. Okay, and this is not to scare people. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. But I want people to think about this. What would you do if something were to happen and all of your computers, all of your electronics, everything, all your banking information, all your personal information, everything was shut down and nothing was accessed? And the worst case scenario, what would you do if everything was down, including electricity, running water, gasoline, things like that? What would you do? And again, I'm not trying to scare people. Do I want something like this to happen? No, nobody does. But, you know, some things are just out of our control. And I believe that, you know, God can sometimes warn us by allowing us to hear things and see things to prepare. So, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. He's in control. No matter what happens, if you are in Christ, the best thing you can do is cling to Jesus. And one thing that I was thinking about was, you know, what would you do? Because this, you know, if something were to happen like that with electricity, electronics, water, going and buying something wouldn't be easy. You know, you couldn't just go to the grocery store all the time. You couldn't just, you know, turn on your faucet or flush your toilet or, you know, whatever. Or turn on a light or, you know, have a phone. And I'm not trying to scare people like I said, but we need to think about some things here. And if nothing happens, then great. But if something were to happen, this is something that I strongly urge people to do. And do it now. If you haven't done anything to prepare for problems, like put food back and water back, do it now. Start now. Now. I've heard some rumors that there could be issues starting in December. I don't know. I don't know if this is true. But I wanted to come on here not to scare people, but just to warn people to think about this stuff. And we don't have to be afraid, and we don't have to be panicked. But God does say that in the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all he has. Okay? So, first of all, I want you to, at the very, very, very least, have a month's worth of food. But ideally, having a year's worth or more is better. And have shelf-stable food that doesn't spoil on the shelf and can be stored in a cool, dry place. So beans, rice, oats, flour, sugar, things like that. And with the water, you want to store as much water as you possibly can. And depending upon the situation, the rule of thumb I've heard is 1 gallon of water per person per day in terms of like drinking and everything. So make sure that you have a lot of water. Okay, this is important. Secondly, think about alternative ways to gather water. If there's rain, leave containers that are open to collect rainwater. If you have a stream or some kind of water source, you can collect that from it, boil it to sanitize it and make it safe for drinking. Let's see, what else? For sanitation and stuff. Using the bathroom. Take a 5-gallon bucket, line it with a kitchen trash bag, and put cat litter in the bottom. It's the same thing as a litter box. You can do your business in there, number 1 and number 2, and then sprinkle some cat litter on top of it and keep going until it's about half full or so. You don't have to do that, but do that. Stock up on trash bags. Okay, trash bags are your friend in these situations. Make sure that you have propane, a propane stove. Make sure you have firewood saved up for, your fireplace or wood stove if you have it. And I want to just talk about this. We kind of saw some of this in Texas. What I'm talking about now could very well affect the entire country. Again, this is not to scare people. I'm just trying to make people aware and just give some ideas. Make sure you have candles, lighters, matches, oil lamps, extra oil, extra wicks. Make sure you have, a way to defend your property and to protect your home. Just be on the safe side and have physical cash put back somewhere safe in your home. Because if something like that happens, then you can't go to the ATMs, you can't use your debit card, you can't use your credit card, and stuff. So have physical cash put back, but while things are still good, stock up, make sure that you have adequate supply of food, water, soap, um, you know, things like that. Toilet paper if you can. Uh, and believe it or not, you can live without toilet paper. You can cut up old newspapers, use those. You can use old rags, old shirts, old socks. You could use paper. You could use um, paper towels, wipes, and stuff. Um, those things cannot be flushed down the toilet. Um, but if there was a situation that bad, you wouldn't even have toilets. So, um, just things to think about. Again, this is not to scare people. This is just to help people understand and prepare. Um, but there's a story about the grasshopper and the ant. The grasshopper was having fun all summer long. Didn't save anything up. Didn't even think about winter. Just, being frivolous and just, blowing money, blowing resources, all that stuff, all summer. The ant was working hard and saving money, saving food back, saving water back, getting prepared for stuff. Winter came along and the grasshopper said to the ant, "Won't you share with me? Poor old me, I have nothing saved." And the ant says, "No, I worked all summer long while you mocked me, while you made excuses. Why should I be obligated to give you anything if you mocked me and didn't bother to do anything?" So, I like that analogy because so many people just kind of make fun of people and, people who think and prepare. And I don't mean to be doom and gloom, and I don't mean to scare people on this channel, but it's not my goal, okay? Some people are just flat out fearmongers, and I don't agree with that at all. But we shouldn't be ignorant and act like nothing will ever happen. Because eventually something is going to happen at some point. The Bible says that in the end times, perilous times will come. And, I think we're there. I don't know for sure. But we need to really think about this. What if you didn't have access to the internet? What if you didn't have, all the stuff that we're so used to and accustomed to? Could you figure out a way to do things yourself and do things on your own? Learn how to cook, learn how to make bread, learn how to live as independently from the system as possible. Learn how to grow your own food, learn how to do stuff. And again, I'm not saying that this stuff is going to happen when they say it is. I don't know. But God knows. And I've heard some rumors about stuff like that. And I just felt the Lord kind of pulling me to just warn people. Because, you really got to think about it when times are good so that way it's not so bad if things do go bad, And so what would you do to, keep yourself clean and everything? Could you, warm up some water on a fire and take a rag and some soap and rub it all over your body and lightly rinse it off? Could you, there's so many different ways of doing it. But the biggest thing I want you to know, to take away from this, is stock up. Stock up on food, stock up on water, stock up on essential things while times are good. Because we saw what happened with COVID. Things aren't always going to be there. But, electricity and running water may not always be there for you. So, it's just something to think about. But yeah, so I'm not trying to scare people, and I'm not trying to fearmonger, but this is something that I want you to think about. Birth certificates, marriage certificates, legal documents, really important things, car titles, important information, homeowners documents. All of that should be in physical paper form, in a file box, filed away somewhere safe. Do not rely on the internet to keep it safe, especially if something were to happen like that. Another thing is, put cash back somewhere in your house, somewhere safe. Whether it's a couple $100, a couple $1,000, whatever. But have physical cash put back. And just make sure that you keep your car full on gas. Make sure that you keep extra gas on hand if you can. And if something does happen, avoid driving around as much. Because if something bad like that does happen, you don't want to be out vulnerable. Because people are going to be freaking out and going to pretty much lose their minds. So, just stay put. Do what you can to protect your home, protect your family, and provide for your family and your household. Do what you can. But I urge you, prepare now. And best case scenario, if nothing happens, does that hurt to put stuff back and be prepared and be wise? No, it doesn't. So just be aware, be thoughtful, and just know that if something does happen, if you do your part and do your best, God will do the rest. So, just to sum it up, make sure that you are putting back water and food. That's number one. Number two, make sure that you put back extremely important documents, birth certificates, marriage certificates, homeowners paperwork, car titles, things like that. Put those back. And put back, extra fuel, extra things to keep you going as much as you can if something were to happen. But guys, I want you to really think about that, because if something were to happen, worst case scenario, you would be way better off having that than not. And you can laugh, you can mock, you can do anything you want. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I want people to think about it and be aware. So, we just hope for the best. What I like to do is, I tell people, I'm not trying to fearmonger, but we prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And let's do that. Let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. You cannot go wrong doing that. It's very wise. The choice is ultimately yours, but I would suggest choose wisely. Be prepared. Be smart. And do not panic. That's the number one thing. Do not be afraid. Do not panic. Because God is in control. And no matter what happens, God is always going to be taking care of his children. It may not be easy, it may not be fun, but he is always going to take care of his children. He promises, I will never leave you, and I will never forsake you, to those who truly believe in him. So anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.